Hey guys, welcome to my creative critical reflection of my AS Foundation portfolio opening sequence, Phantom Echoes. Phantom Echoes is an opening sequence that revolves around the genre of horror and psychological thriller. This is going to be a part 1 of a 4-part series where we dive deep into the creative critical reflection of our media product. In this video, we will be discussing how my media product, Phantom Echoes, uses or challenges traditional conventions and how does it represent social groups and issues. To start off, I would like to discuss what a convention really is. A convention, in a general sense, refers to a widely accepted and established practice, behavior, or custom that is widely followed or adhered within a particular society, group, field, or activity, or in this case, filmmaking. Conventions often serve as a norm, standards, or traditions that guide and govern behaviors, actions, or procedures in a consistent and predictable manner. Some good horror movies include Psycho from the 1960s, The Shining, the recent Conjuring that started the whole Conjuring franchise, the Annabelle, the spin-off from the Conjuring universe, and the widely acclaimed It from the 2017. Now I would like to discuss how does following a convention for a horror movie makes the audience feel. Well, following these conventions, there are some specific emotions and psychological responses that the horror movie aims towards its viewer, such as fear, suspense, shock, anxiety, disgust, terror, paranoia, unease, helplessness, and curiosity. On the other hand, if we look at the production part of following conventions, in a horror movie, camera's perspectives often include mid-close shots and close-ups to create a sense of emotional intensity and disorientation. Additionally, point-of-view shots or POVs shots are employed to immerse viewers in the character's experience, heightening their fear and suspense. Musics are also extensively used, such as dramatic and suspenseful music with a slow and intense pace to amplify emotional reactions and create a sense of foreboding. In Phantom Echoes, the eerie music brings forth a sense of impounding doom as Victoria battles her psyche against the evil entity. A lot of props are also used in horror movies. The props are essential elements in filmmaking, playing a vital role in enhancing the story process and creating a believable fictional world. Common props in horror film include weapons like bats, swords, barbed wires, which contributes to the theme of torture and harm. Locations also matter a lot in a horror movie. The choice of location plays an important role in creating an atmosphere and suspense. The right location can have an overall impact on the film and make it a memorable experience for the viewers. Horror films are often set in haunted rooms or abandoned streets, creating an eerie, unsettling atmosphere. Now that we know what convention really is and what kind of convention that horror movie utilizes, so I would like to discuss all the conventions that my film Phantom Echoes uses. First convention that my film uses is insomnia as a psychological horror element. The film uses the common horror convention of personal vulnerability, in this case insomnia, to create a sense of dread and vulnerability for the protagonist, who is Victoria. Insomnia is a relatable and real-life issue that is exploited to heighten the psychological experience. Supernatural entities are also a common theme in many horror films. The presence of a malevolent entity haunting the house aligns with the conventional horror trope of a supernatural antagonist, adding an element of dread and suspense. Haunting house setting is also a very common theme in horror movies. The setting of a haunted house is a classical horror convention. It's a place associated with supernatural occurrences and malevolent entities, and it serves as a stage for the psychological torment experienced by Victoria. Another common element that has been widely explored in the horror movie genre is the blurring of reality and nightmare. Phantom Echoes employs the convention of blurring the lines between reality and nightmare, which is often seen in psychological horror. This technique is used to create the audience guessing and disoriented, adding to the overall sense of terror. Some other psychological horror elements in my film include the convention of psychological horror by emphasizing the protagonist's mental and emotional struggles. Victoria's battle with insomnia and the malevolent force taps into the audience's fear of the unknown and the fragility of a human mind. These are all the conventions that I used in my opening sequence, Phantom Echoes. So let's move on to the part where my film challenges these conventions, starting off with female empowerment. While many horror films have female protagonists, my film challenges these conventions by not relying on traditional gender roles or stereotypes. Victoria is not portrayed as a helpless victim but as someone who confronts her fears and the malevolent force head on. This challenges the trope of the damsel in distress. While horror films have often depicted female characters as helpless victims, Phantom Echoes challenges these conventions by portraying Victoria as a resilient and determined protagonist. She confronts the evil entity head on, defying the typical damsel in distress stereotype. Another convention that Phantom Echoes challenges is psychological depth. Instead of relying solely on jump scares and gore, the film delves into the psychological depth of Victoria. It explores themes of mental fragility, insomnia, and the inner demons that can haunt a person. This challenges the convention of a shallow character development in horror movies. Phantom Echoes also challenges the convention of blurring reality and nightmare by subverting traditional horror boundaries. By intricately blurring the lines between reality and nightmare, this challenges the conventional narrative structure and keeps the audience guessing, enhancing the psychological horror elements. Moving on to the last convention that my movie challenges, though Phantom Echoes primarily focuses on horror and psychological thriller genre, it can also be seen as a reflection of the psychological toll of modern life. Victoria's struggles with insomnia and the malevolent force can be seen as a metaphor for anxieties and pressure that many people face in the contemporary world. It doesn't overtly addresses social issues but hints at them through its narrative. In summary, Phantom Echoes uses traditional horror elements to create a terrifying atmosphere and also challenges conventions by giving depth to its characters, particularly Victoria, and delving into the psychological themes. It also subtly hints at this makes Phantom Echo a complex and thoughtful provoking entry in the horror movie genre. Last but not least, moving on to the part where we'll be seeing how my film Phantom Echoes represents social issues and groups. Phantom Echoes may not overtly focus on representing specific social groups, but it can indirectly touch upon broader societal themes and issues through its narrative and characters. Here are some ways in which the film potentially represent or comment on social groups and issues. The first one being gender roles and women empowerment. While not the central theme, the film's choice of a female protagonist who confronts her fears and battles the malevolent force challenges traditional gender roles. Victoria's journey from vulnerability to empowerment can symbolize the strength and resilience of women in the face of adversity. Horror films set in domestic settings can often allude to the hidden horrors within families and relationships. Phantom Echoes might indirectly comment on issues related to domestic violence, abuse, or the dark secrets that can exist within the confines of a home. These themes can be metaphorically explored through the supernatural elements of the story. Lastly, moving to the part where we will discuss the problems with fantasy versus reality. The blurring of the lines between reality and nightmare in the film can be seen as a commentary on the fragility of perception and how easily individuals can be swayed by external influences or internal struggles. This theme could reflect broader societal discourses such as reliability of information and the impact of external horrors or individuals' beliefs and horrors. This theme could reflect broader societal discourses such as reliability of information and the impact of external forces on individuals' beliefs and behaviors. In essence, Phantom echoes both adheres and challenges genre conventions, offering a fresh perspective on horror while representing social themes related to gender empowerment, domestic horror, and the thought of fantasy versus reality. Through its portrayal of a strong female protagonist and its exploration of the blurred lines between reality and nightmare, the film engages viewers on both psychological and social levels. Thank you for tuning in for this video. I hope you really liked it, and do catch you in the next one.